Hey everyone! A few months ago, you may remember that I made a video called One Scene for Hope, in which I discussed a specific scene from the American sitcom You're the Worst. If you don't remember that video, or maybe didn't see it because sometimes YouTube is a bit of an asshole, you can watch that video right here. I mean, you should watch it. It's really good. Oh, and while you're here, if you don't mind, make sure to like this video, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on so that you will always be told about future videos as they come out, and also engage in the comments below. Help a girl out because the algorithm sure won't. I bring it up because this video is definitely a bit of a companion piece to that one. Sarah from the Costume Codex has issued another little prompt for creators who are interested in participating. This time, she has asked us to discuss a scene that encapsulates joy for us. What kind of joy? Any kind of joy. Queer joy, fat joy, that wake up at 10 a.m. on a Saturday under a weighted blanket with two purring cats next to you kind of joy. Being the resident polyamorous of the crowd, I thought it would make sense, it's gonna be really funny in a second, if I discuss a scene that encapsulates polyamorous joy, which is actually kind of a tall order to find. Most stories we see might have a love triangle or a juicy little affair, but ethical non-monogamy depicted in a meaningful way, that's hard to find. No, bad show. No, no. I shouldn't have to say what's wrong with this. Oh, I'm getting to you. Oh, just you wait. There we go. That's the stuff. Before I get into the scene in question, please be aware that you are about to get major spoilers for the show Sense8. Major spoilers? Like, we're talking literally end of the show spoilers. So if you've already seen Sense8 or don't mind spoilers, you may continue watching. Everyone else is advised to stop. So the scene specifically comes in the series finale, the last episode of season 2, called Amor Vincit Omnia. It's important to note up front that this was not meant to originally be the ending of Sense8. This finale was essentially demanded by fans of the show after it was canceled unceremoniously after only 2 seasons. The episode itself is actually more of a movie, running at 151 minutes, and was meant to give fans a bit more closure after the huge cliffhanger that season 2 ended on. Y'all, I was incensed when I found out the show was canceled. Like, you can't have Whispers finding my boy Wolfgang and then just end it without me knowing whether or not he's safe. That's not okay. That is cruel. That is inhumane. That is against the Geneva Convention. Just saying. In the scene in question, Kala has just arrived at the rendezvous point where her cluster mates and their allies have gathered. Waiting outside for her are Rajan, her husband, and Wolfgang, her fellow cluster mate they just rescued, and also her lover. It's a big moment. The show started off with Kala hesitating and dealing with a lot of trepidation around marrying Rajan. During their first attempt at a ceremony, she was visited by Wolfgang, who was naked at the time, who told her that she didn't love him. During the 2 seasons of the show, we saw Kala's relationships to both of these men develop and grow. Her connection with Wolfgang is passionate, sexy, and exciting, while her relationship with Rajan is a bit more stable and grounded, reliable. At this point, Kala has come clean to Rajan about everything, and he has accepted her without question. She is feeling more grateful and in love with him than perhaps she ever has. This is also the first time that Kala has ever seen Wolfgang in person. Up till now, they've only ever interacted via their Sense8 connection. He was also just rescued from torture, which Kala could feel. Of course she wants to run to him too. As the car comes to a stop, Kala finds herself hesitating about getting out, feeling her heart being pulled to both of these men. She says she's uncertain about what choice she should make. Bug, who is the sweetest boy ever, love this guy so much, reminds her that because of her unique abilities, she can be in 2 places at once. She doesn't have to choose. So she doesn't.
You are so much more than the man I thought I married.
This moment is generally really beautiful to me for so many reasons. First of all, as someone who was like really invested in the show when it came out and deeply cared about all these characters, I was so happy to get to see everyone having this moment of happiness and connection. A brief moment of peace before the next battle is fought. This scene is about love. Pure and simple. I love the chemistry of all the cast, honestly. I think it's one of the reasons why Sense8 is such a fantastic show to watch. I barely breathed during that sentence, oh my goodness. Everyone just like plays off of each other and works off of each other just so well. It's just, this is casting at its finest. Wolfgang in particular is definitely a favorite of mine. I mean, just look at him. Look at this little guy. Look at this little imp. Ugh. How couldn't you love him? Also, the hot Wolfgang is very hot. Something else that I love about this scene is that we finally solve a love triangle with polyamory! Woo! We did it! Bam, 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 bam. This is my Christmas! Woo! Polyamory for the win! Ooh, I'm spinning. I'm coming back. All right, that's enough. Sorry to make a big deal about this, but you have to understand, this has been a common complaint from the polyamorous community since the invention of television. Love triangles are a very common trope, and I get why, but like, god damn do they get annoying sometimes. Screaming, just be polyamorous at your TV when Rogue's trying to decide whether to be with the sad southern emo boy or the fucking Viking. Wait, why was this a hard choice again? Have you seen Alexander Skarsgård? It's probably one of the few unifying experiences of non-monogamous people. In reality, do I think all love triangle plots should be solved with non-monogamy? No, of course not. For some characters, it wouldn't feel like a natural part of the storyline, and also, particularly in scenarios where cheating is involved, proposing non-monogamy as a solution to that relationship's problem is not a great idea. It won't help to heal the trust that has been broken, and more than likely there are other issues within that relationship that need to be worked on first before such a thing is even possible. But for these characters in this particular universe, it made total sense. Kala clearly loves both of these men, and they definitely love her too. Rajan very quickly accepts Kala for who she is when she is honest with him about what's been going on, understanding that that connection with Wolfgang is one that's really important to her. He never questions her commitment to him. He accepts that it's possible for her to love them both. In the show prior to this, Wolfgang has definitely poked and prodded Kala a bit about her relationship with Rajan, making her question whether or not being married to him is a good idea. But here we see a Wolfgang who fully accepts Rajan. Certainly him having a part in Wolfgang's rescue probably helped to, warm him up to him a bit. Generally speaking, Wolfgang seems pretty comfortable with different forms of sexuality and relationships, so it seems very likely that he would be someone who would be open to non-monogamy. All of this is to say that it does feel very much like this is where these characters were meant to go. Now, granted, I do have some sad feelings about this scene too. As beautiful as it is, I do think it would have been a lot more satisfying if we had gotten a proper sequence of episodes leading us up to this eventual destination. I wish we could have seen the relationships between all these people develop more organically, and not rush to a conclusion for the purposes of wrapping up a show several seasons early. I think the writers did the best they could under the circumstances, and I am very much aware that there were many storylines that had to either be shortened or even abandoned altogether to make everything come together in the way that it did. My boys Leto and Capheus especially got screwed over in the finale and have very little to do. Still, I think a lot about how we were denied seeing a proper polycule develop between these three people. And maybe these three people? I did not see that one coming, I'm not gonna lie. The cluster of Sense8 has been likened to a polycule many times before by fans. The show also features many queer characters, and there is a significant overlap between the queer community and the polyamorous one. So it definitely makes sense to see this development in the show, and I think it would have been really interesting to have explored this over the course of several seasons. And there's still a lot that we honestly don't really know about this relationship. Every time Kala or Wolfgang are asked about how they're gonna make this work, they're pretty vague and evasive.
So, have you talked with Rajan? You know about future? No.
Do you think he will work out?
I don't know.
Have you talked to either of them? Do you know what you want?
All non-monogamous relationships require work to stay healthy and happy, and also a lot of communication. But based off of these conversations, it seems like they're not really having the conversations that are necessary to like figure this stuff out. It seems like they're more just winging it, which, I mean, that is a way to do non-monogamy, yeah, but like, I don't think that's a great idea. There are many questions that we're left with. What are Rajan's boundaries going to be regarding Kala's relationship with Wolfgang? What are their living arrangements going to be like? Oh, and here's one. Is this a polyamorous V or is this a triad? Like, generally I get kind of like a polyamorous V situation with Kala being the hinge partner between the two, but like, I don't know, there's a lot of chemistry between these guys. In the orgy to end all orgies, Rajan and Wolfgang are engaging each other physically. They're playfully pulling off each other's shirts and kissing. Maybe they're just sex pals, but on the other hand, maybe there's a romantic connection here. Or, you know, would have been eventually had the show actually been able to develop the way it was supposed to. I guess in the end, we'll never know how much we were ultimately denied. You know, I personally would have loved to have seen Rajan and Wolfgang connect more, get all buddy-buddy, even if not romantically so. You just know that like Wolfgang would have been all like cheeky and roguelike, and Rajan would have just been this like oblivious good boy, and just, it would have been so good. I love them so much. I really do. The name of the final episode, Amor Vincit Omnia, is Latin, and it translates into Love Conquers All.
You all know that Virgil wrote Amor Vincit Omnia. Love conquers all things.
A little hokey, yeah. A little on the nose, definitely. But sometimes I like hokey. Sometimes I like hokey. Sometimes I like romance and lingering gazes and the knowledge that the people on screen are definitely in love with each other. And sometimes I want those people to be in love with more than one person. I am a simple woman. I am a hopeless romantic and love me a cheesy rom-com, but most, if not all, of the ones I've seen center a very monogamous style of love. It's hyper amatonormative and extremely limiting. Unless I run off to fanfiction.net, most love triangles remain unsolved or else have a one true pairing that is very obvious. When polyamory is in a storyline, it's typically rather brief, more like a gimmick or an obstacle to be overcome, or else included more like a joke.
You're not that great, Schmidt. Last night, Chaz and Sutton got in a fight.
A lover's quarrel?
Sutton and Chaz are not a couple.
Chaz is with Five, Rory's with the other broad.
Actually, Rory, Sutton, and Fife are in a triad, and Chaz is a floater.
They're polyamorous?
So this scene really captures polyamorous joy like no other. In this moment, Kala accepts that she doesn't have to choose one piece of her heart over another. She rejects hierarchy and tradition and does what feels best for her and her partners. The future is uncertain, and there will definitely be challenges along the way. But I'm confident that they're gonna get through it just fine. In this scene, love does conquer all. And who couldn't find some joy in that? Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this brief little video. I hope you watched it. Thanks again to Sarah from the Costume Codex for issuing this little prompt. I obviously enjoyed it, and I was really excited that this one, in theory, is going to come out on time. So really cool. If you're a creator and interested in trying it out, you should do it. Make a video, make a little art project, make I don't know, a PowerPoint presentation, whatever you want. You can have fun with it. Just do whatever you want. Big thank you, of course, to all of my supporters over on Patreon. If you would like to support me, please go over to patreon.com/mainlymandy, where you can donate a few dollars every month. It really helps me out, and my cat is meowing outside of the door, so if you give me money, I can shove food in his mouth and shut him up. Remember to like this video, share it with a good friend, engage in the comments below, and I will see you in the next one. This video is brought to you by all of my patrons over on patreon.com/mainlymandy, but a special thank you to Angela Ward, Adam Fellows, Austin Tallman, Bailey Grevlin, Beat Duck, Kaylin Conrad, David Lindes, Liz Hammond, Harker the Storyteller, Haley Williams, Jeffrey Reynolds, Kevin Cook, Non Anonymous, Faye Briscoe, Fia Westfall, Polyamethyst, Sidekick, and Veronica Duff.